Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone, as it's known in America, is a charming adult rom-com about a boy and his difficulty getting to terms with having a condom-shaped scar on his forehead. It follows a year in the boy's life as he attends the Bang School of Fanny Magic and befriends an old pedophile, a hairy fast food connoisseur and two fellow schoolmates. Not a bad start to the series. A little childish perhaps, but the cast were only tadpoles at this point. 5 out of 10. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the second film in the Saw franchise, takes a slight turn and now sees Harry becoming obsessed with a diary and finding a massive snake, only to eventually blind it because he's so bored. At least he saves Ginny. Don't know why. I'm sure he won't end up having a long-term relationship with her or anything. 6 out of 10. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is different from the first two in that it has a dark and incriminating undertone. It's like you feel like a child molester simply by watching it, it's that gloomy. Sirius Black comes out of nowhere and reassures Harry that he isn't really as evil as everyone seems to think. Sirius Black was only incarcerated because he was polite and complimentary to a police officer for so long that said officer actually got annoyed and arrested him for too many pleasantries. 7 out of 10. The fourth entry in the series, Goblet of Fire, is more mature than its three predecessors. Now Harry and his friends have to deal with really adult themes. Like, many super mature situations. The film might not even be suitable for 21-year-olds, it's that transgressive. Anyway, the main story arc involves the Triwizard Tit Cup, which sees 4 different wizards competing against each other to win 3 different challenges. First, they have to snatch an egg from a dragon that's in heat, then they have to dive underwater and stay there until they drown, and finally they will have to get lost in a hedge maze until they give each other a boost to climb on top of a hedge and cheat. 7 out of 10. Order of the Phoenix, being the 5th Harry Potter film, has the honor of being the 4th sequel to The Philosopher's Stone, a childish mess with plot holes that make me ill. Never matter. Every other film has beaten it in every way, so this should too, right? Well, it's not as good as Goblet of Fire or The Prisoner of Azkaban, but it might make you tingle ever so slightly. It's good enough to raise your underpants wand, but not good enough to make you cast a spell from it. And the Order itself is really just a band of racists. Not really. 6 out of 10. The Half-Blood Prince is still as good as the other movies, but somehow less memorable. I keep forgetting what happens in this movie because of it. Hell, the titular Half-Blood Prince is barely touched upon. Only one character farts out the name in passing, and that's only because Harry threatens to invade his safe space. Harry gets really mad because Snape ends up causing Dumbledore a minor fall, which then gives him an injured knee. It's okay. He'll be back in action in a few weeks. 6 out of 10. The final book, The Deathly Hallows, was not simply adapted as one film. They decided that 2 hours or so would not be adequate, so they instead released it in 2 parts. Part 1 has some tents in it, which is nice, and Part 2 has a war in it or something, which is also quite nice. The first part seems to resonate with me more, but the second part has more war stuff. Oh shit, I already mentioned the war, didn't I? Well, there is a pretty big one. That's what she said. But no, there is a large-scale fight that cripples most of Hogbank Castle and kills most of Volder Frenchword for Death's forces. But Volder Frenchword for Death still manages to mess Harry's day up real bad. The first part gets a 7 out of 10 and the last part a 6 out of 10.